I am Tolu Lokpe Ogunjobi. But first, let's start with stories making headlines in the world of business. We start by telling you that the Nigerian economy has been projected to grow 2.1% this year, up from 0.8% last year. The global economy is also expected to grow at a solid pace through the next year, boosted after fast expansion in the United States and Europe. This was announced by the International Monetary Fund at the presentation of the World Economic Outlook for April 2018, presentation in Washington Tuesday. Although Nigeria GDP is expecting to grow by 2.1% this year, it is being forecast by the outlook to shrink by 1.9% next year as a result of the forthcoming elections. Currently, Nigeria's growth projection in 2018 falls below the estimate for sub-Saharan Africa at 3.4%. The Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency, SMEDEN, plans to revive the 23 Industrial Development Centers, IDCs, in Nigeria. SMEDEN says it aims to convert the centers to enterprises clusters. Well, according to SMEDEN's Director General, Diko Umar Rada, the African Development Bank is providing funding for the revival of the IDCs. Rada says a consulting firm will undertake the feasibility study of the centers and come out with possible solutions and find a final draft on how to go about reviving them. What's our trust for today? Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria introduced the cashless policy, which stipulates a cash handling charge on daily withdrawals that exceed 500,000 for individuals and 3 million for corporate bodies. Well, the policy on cash withdrawals in banks aims at reducing the amount of physical cash circulating in the economy and encouraging more electronic-based transactions. The policy was introduced to drive development and modernization of Nigeria's payment system, in line with its Vision 2020 goal of being amongst the top 20 economies. It also aims to reduce the cost of banking services and improve the effectiveness of monetary policy in managing inflation and driving economic growth. Very interesting. Well, joining me to discuss all of this is I have Kehinde Adisa here, General Manager, Corporate Services Administration, Global Accelerex. I hope I pronounced that very well.
Global Accelerex.
Accelerex. Thank you very much for joining us on the show.
It's my pleasure to be here today.
Well, let me start this way. Let's look at the cashless policy. What's the impact on lifestyles, Nigerians? How would you say we've taken this?
The cashless policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria has hugely impacted the lifestyles of Nigerians. Like you said earlier, the policy aims to reduce the amount of physical cash in circulation. And the Apex Bank provided a plethora of alternatives to promote this initiative. We have the point of sales, we have the ATM, mobile banking, internet banking, etc. Right. I'll say e-payment is convenient. It's made life convenient for Nigerians. With just your bank cards on you, you can make payments at the supermarkets, at the airport, in schools with your cards. So the constant need to go to the bank to withdraw cash is almost eliminated. From the comfort of our homes, we can conduct banking transactions on our mobile phones, receive funds, make payments, or we could stroll to the nearest ATM in the neighborhood to make payments. So it's made life convenient. It's also safer and more secure. One of the main thrusts of the cashless policy is to reduce the incidence of robbery. So with just our bank cards on us, we feel safe and secure. And it's also moving Nigeria gradually towards being one of the 20 economies in 2020 because it's hugely impacted the economy significantly.
Beautifully said, but there are some challenges which we know we identified with issues of the cards and all of that. We can talk about one or two of them before we go to the Digital Expo. I'm actually interested in that too, but tell us some of the challenges. There are challenges you know you identified.
There are challenges, but I would say the challenges, the benefits outweigh the challenges. You know, so in any, for any policy or any initiative, you can't get it 100%. There are always upsides and downsides. So one of the major ones I can readily say is that sometimes because of the network connections, the payment doesn't go through. But it's reduced drastically over time because the central bank and the players in the industry are continually looking at ways to make it more attractive for consumers and Nigerians.
Very interesting. Now let's look at the Digital Pay Expo. I was there last year and I saw a lot of innovations and all of that. Tell us, why are you part of it this year?
The Digital Pay Expo is one of the biggest e-payment platforms in Nigeria. It brings together key players in the payment ecosystem, regulators, influencers, innovators. It's at this event, new ideas are sparked and valuable insights are gained. Global Accelerex is a major player in the payment industry, and we would like to contribute our knowledge. We would like to contribute to the knowledge that will be shared at the event, and also learn about latest trends in the payment sector. The expo also offers us a grand opportunity to showcase our products and services and build brand proximity, amongst our clients and potential investors. And also, the networking opportunities are great and immense. Under one roof, you have all the players in the payment industry together. So you get to meet with them and then discuss, and then you possibly meet potential investors.
That could even want to bring in.
Yes.
But the role of Global Accelerex now in this drive towards a cashless economy, I want to really know your role. What role do you play in helping actualize this very beautiful initiative?
Global Accelerex Limited is a Central Bank of Nigeria licensed payment terminal service provider. We're the leading provider of electronic payment and business management solutions in Nigeria, providing innovative technology solutions in a secure and reliable manner to businesses and consumers across channels. Global Accelerex believes in the Central Bank of Nigeria's vision for a cashless society, and we use intelligence, creativity, technology, and innovation to provide cutting-edge solutions to Nigeria's payment processes, eliminating bottlenecks and making the process smoother. We ensure that our point-of-sales terminals are fast, reliable, convenient, affordable, and flexible. And we don't just provide payment platforms. We offer customized platforms of choice for clients' initiatives like invoicing and bill collection. Terminals are also flexible and versatile enough to integrate with the banking and business systems of our clients. All of this is geared towards making electronic payment attractive and easier for consumers. We are addressing accessibility by providing access to Nigerians on our point of sales terminals, which is within the reach of consumers.
Beautifully said, beautifully. Now let's now look at digital innovation in general now. How do you think this can help drive economic growth, particularly at this time when we try to diversify? I think this is also another way that people need to look at. How can digital innovation help drive economic growth?
Digital innovation is one of the bedrocks of a progressive society. Countries around the world, including Nigeria, are investing heavily in digital infrastructure. That is why companies like ours invest a lot of resources in research and development. We're continuously and relentlessly looking at ways to make Nigeria's payment process easier and faster. So we can see it in different facets of life. The people in Nigeria that were underserved and underbanked are gradually being included in the financial net due to digital innovation. It has also created a lot of employment opportunities for Nigerians. You see Nigerian youth, they're thinking out of the box, they are evolving, looking for ways to make payments easier. And it's not just digital innovation. Innovation as a whole has contributed hugely to the Nigerian economy. Thanks to innovation, businesses and government can reduce their travel spend because of video conferencing, and social inequality and imbalances have also reduced due to digital innovation. So it's definitely, I would even say it has already impacted the Nigerian economy, and it can only, yes, it has already, and it will definitely lead to sustainable growth in the country.
You touched on something very important, financial inclusion, and I know this is something that the central bank have always talked about, trying to bridge that gap. So this would help bridge that gap too.
Definitely, because the financial inclusion initiative means that you don't need to go into the physical structure of a bank to conduct financial services. Different electronic models are available for people in the rural areas. No matter how remote their location is, they can just stroll to the nearest shop in their neighborhood and make payments or receive funds.
Okay, let's take this break. We'll be back. I'll still have Kehinde here. We'll be talking more about this before we move to another segment of the show. Stay with us. It's still Business Nigeria. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying tuned. Well, I still have Kehinde Adisa, General Manager, Corporate Service and Administration, Accelerex, Global Accelerex Limited. Yes, in full, talking so much about the cashless policy and also looking ahead of the Digital Pay Expo, where we'll talk about innovation, digital innovation, trying to move Nigeria out of where we used to be to where we should be as a growing and developed and industrialized nation. Well, now let's look at the Expo again. Where would you be and what do you really think we would achieve after that gathering in positive impact on our banking system, on our economy? It's a two-in-one question.
Global Accelerex Limited is a platinum sponsor at the Digital Pay Expo. Managing Director Tunde Ogunbade is a keynote speaker at the event, and we're also sponsoring the dinner and awards night, which is the high point of the three-day event.
Okay.
We will be participating at the exhibition, and we can be found in booth A5, where our latest innovative offerings will be on display, and a whole lot more that I wouldn't want to reveal now. But I urge you to look out for Global Accelerex.
At the end of this gathering, what do we really intend to achieve?
At the end of the gathering, I believe that because of the ideas and intense discussion that would that will take place, financial inclusion would catapult, into including more people than we even envisage in the financial system. I believe it would lead to the invention and creation of more ingenious ways of including as many Nigerians as possible in the financial net, and also impact positively on the Nigerian economy and the banking system.
Very importantly, that is where we really want that to do. Kehinde Adisa, General Manager, Corporate Service and Administration, Global Accelerex. Thank you for spending your time with us on Business Nigeria. And we hope that TVC2 will be partners, to at least to work together in this this game. This is a great one, and I think we would like to also work with you in this.
Thank you for having me.
All right, then. Well, looking at other stories, let's go to Abuja, where Nigeria's head of service, Winifred Oyoita, wants the country's national assets to be refurbished and used for revenue generation. She was speaking on the sidelines of an inspection tour of Nigeria's Federal Training Academy, which has been touched up to generate income for the nation. Officers from the Accountant General's office are currently being trained at the institution, which will serve as a model business training school for one of the country's universities.
Government assets should not be thrown off, discarded, thrown away, or allowed to deteriorate, but they should be reactivated and used for the common good in any MDA, because government is the sole financier of ministries, departments, and agencies. It is so important that the people who are managing the funds of government, the treasury functions of government, must be well trained.
Entered into an MOU with the National Open University, where National Open University Business School will be established around here. And this is one of the manifestations of such collaboration and synergy that has happened. The beauty of it is these are both government agencies, government institutions, and that is what we are going to do. And this is aligned with the government policy and government executive orders to look inwards and then put synergy together and then achieve development.
Meanwhile, Kenyan Airways has now replaced SAC Nigerian employees with sales agents Total Air Logistics Limited. The 22 Nigerians were fired last weekend, a decision the airline says is in line with its strategy of rationalizing its operations to increase efficiency and improve service delivery. Total Air Logistics will serve as a general sales agent, selling passengers tickets and cargo space in Nigeria. Meanwhile, the National Union of Air Transport Employees say it is set for industrial action with the management of Kenyan Airways over the SAC. In other stories now, teleology may not get to own Now Mobile, as the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) says it will not approve the sale of the telecoms company without proof of technical competence. Although Teleology Holdings Limited has paid $50 million deposit for the acquisition of 9 Mobile, Nigeria's 4th largest mobile operator, NCC says a new bidder for 9 Mobile has emerged and is already undergoing financial evaluation. According to NCC, once the Central Bank of Nigeria finishes evaluating the bidder's financial capability, the Commission will also examine the technical capacity of the preferred bidder. And Nigeria could make more from its mining sector. That's according to Nigeria's Export Promotion Council, NEPC. The country is capable of generating 5 trillion naira yearly from the exportation of mining and solid minerals. The Economic Recovery and Growth Plan and the 2017 annual budget recognizes the potential of solid mineral sector and the capability of Nigeria to generate much more for the sector. Data shows Nigeria made 62 billion naira from the solid minerals in 2015, an increase of 24% on the 55.8 billion naira earned from the sector a year before. Meanwhile, NEPC's Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer Olusegun Awolowo said the council would continue to collaborate with the relevant government ministries to improve the fortunes of the sector. The legal issues impeding growth of exportation of gold is giving mining and exports serious concern. Speakers at a one-day capacity building workshop of gold miners by the Nigerian Export Promotion Council in Ilorin, Kwara State, said the legal issues have to be settled in the interest of mining and export promotion. Participants drawn across the country lamented how Nigeria is not among the first 10 exporters of gold in Africa, despite having 24 different mineral resources. They urge both the state and federal governments to iron out their legal differences on the control of mining sites and remove the brick walls being faced by miners across the country.
One of the challenges before us today is how to increase Nigerian market share of solid minerals at the international market. Available records show that Nigeria earned 69.2 billion naira from the solid mineral sector in 2015, an increase of 24% on the 55.8 billion naira earned from the same sector in 2014. Nigeria is not among the top 10 exporters of gemstones in Africa, despite the fact that the country has enormous deposit and potential in about 34 different mineral items.
I want to appeal that our state and local government should allow mining to thrive. We should allow the sector to develop. What's happening in that state, you allow it to be happening all over Nigeria. We are in to have some sort of crisis in our constitution. And also, we also observe that our laws are not being respected. These are federal laws. We appeal to our state and local governments to please respect our laws.
We have to look as a nation at states that are naturally endowed and look at what could be given to them to encourage them so that they will further encourage the youths within those states to be able to key into these opportunities. Federal government sitting in Abuja and controlling things across the country going forward, I don't think will be good for this nation, especially when we are now concerned about true youth development and, of course, value orientation.
To the power sector now, the Electric Power Sector Reform Amendment Bill 2018 has passed first reading. The bill seeks to address the issues customers have to deal with, especially those who want to purchase their prepaid meters through credit advancement metering implementation. It also seeks to amend the Electric Power Sector Reform Act to prohibit and criminalize estimated billings by distribution licensees. Lawmakers threw their weight behind the bill, each expressing the concerns raised about the present metering system in their respective constituencies.
I think first of all we need to consider what exactly is estimated billing. We hear the word being bandied around. What is estimated billing? Estimated billing is a practice where whimsically you estimate, that's the word, you estimate how much electricity is consumed by a consumer. Perhaps if you look at it sometimes or in a more dispassionate way, there may be nothing wrong with it. But that is where that estimated billing is almost to an exact point. Give or take a few naira here, a few naira there, up and down.
Of these same estimated billings. Then today, they will tell you, I'm surprised that Gudaje is talking about houses paying 1,000 naira or 2,000 naira in Kando. The minimum we pay in my community, some of the other villages around, is 8,000 naira. For farmers, they cannot buy paracetamol, Mr. Speaker, that is sold for 10 naira. There are farmers, you say they should come and pay 8,000 naira. Then what they do, when you can pay 1,000 naira, they say, okay, they give you life for 2-3 days in a month. Then they are saying the community is owing 100 million naira. A community that cannot produce 1 million. People that go to farm, and you tell them to pay 8,000 naira. When they pay 1,000 naira, you say they are owing that bill. Mr. Speaker, I support this bill 200%.
Government's policy. Today, Mr. Speaker, we are under serious financial pressure. As I speak, Mr. Speaker, I come from a place that has been taken out of the national grid by Benin Electricity Distribution Company for the past 2 years. And the reason is simple. Estimated bills that were calculated together, which the people disputed, they said, well, for you disputing it, instead of coming to grips with what they are complaining about, they are shut out of the grid.
Members of the House of Reps are already investigating their meeting with discos in Lagos. One of those meetings was attended yesterday, and reports will be on, and there will also be follow-ups with regards to tariffs and metering. Before we go, let us tell you that crude oil prices trade mix at the global market this Wednesday as Canadian oil industry posts a gross profit for the first time in 3 years, signifying recovery from losses in energy market. At the London market, Brent crude trades upwards at $72 for a barrel. But OPEC basket crude drops to $68 per barrel in mid-trade transactions. That's our show for you today. Thank you very much for watching. On behalf of the entire production crew, I am Tolu Lokwe Ogunjobi. Join us again next time for a fresh edition. Bye for now.